For over a century, we've been told Antarctica is a desolate, uninhabited wasteland of ice. The official story? It's a continent for science and peace, protected by an international treaty. Governments consistently dismiss claims of strange activities or hidden structures. But what if that official story is, as some believe, the biggest cover-up in human history? There's a narrative that says, the reason they don't want you looking too closely is because of what's been buried for millennia under 2 miles of ice. There are tales of documents and maps they don't want you to see, and they point to something incredible. Antarctica is the most isolated place on Earth. It holds 90% of the world's ice and is larger than Europe. We know more about the surface of Mars than the land under its frozen sheet. Officially, there's no native population, no history of human settlement. But that's the Antarctica of today. Science is clear on one incredible fact. Antarctica wasn't always a frozen desert. About 90 million years ago, it was a temperate continent covered in lush rainforests and rivers. It was a land capable of supporting life. This single, undisputed fact opens a door to a question that is echoed for decades. If the land was once habitable, who or what might have lived there? And what if, as the story goes, they never left? The first thread in this mystery wasn't found under ice, but in a library in Istanbul, Turkey. In 1929, a stunning discovery was made. A fragment of a map compiled in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral, Piri Reis. The Piri Reis map is a real, historically significant document, pieced together from even older source maps. It shows the coasts of Europe, Africa, and the Americas with remarkable detail for its time. But it's the bottom of the map that has fueled a century of debate. It depicts a landmass extending from South America's southern tip. Proponents of a hidden history, like author Charles Hapgood, claim this is a detailed depiction of Antarctica's coast without ice. How could a 16th century admiral map a coastline buried under ice for millennia? Hapgood's theory suggested Piri Reis had source maps from a forgotten ancient civilization with advanced technology. Of course, mainstream historians offer a different explanation. The prevailing academic view is that the southern landmass isn't Antarctica at all, but a distorted representation of the South American coastline, bent to fit the animal hide it was drawn on. Cartographers of the era also often included a hypothetical Terra Australis, or southern land. So, is it a simple cartographic error, or the first clue in a global conspiracy? As the world spiraled toward war in the late 1930s, Antarctica became a target of strategic interest. In 1938, Nazi Germany launched a secret expedition aboard the MS Schwabenland. Officially, it was to scout locations for a whaling station to help Germany's war economy. During this expedition, they surveyed a vast territory, naming it New Swabia. This is where official history ends and a darker narrative begins. According to a story that emerged after the war, the expedition was a cover for establishing a secret military stronghold, Base 211. This theory gained traction when proponents pointed to a cryptic 1943 statement by Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, who boasted of an invulnerable fortress, a paradise-like oasis in the middle of eternal ice. Was this just rhetoric or a reference to a real base? The myth grew, suggesting high-ranking Nazis fled there via advanced U-boats as the Third Reich crumbled. While there is no concrete proof of such a base, extensive surveys of New Swabia have found nothing. The confirmed Nazi expedition and Donitz's words have created a persistent legend. What was Germany really doing there on the eve of war? The plot thickens just after World War II. In 1946, the United States launched the largest military expedition to Antarctica in history, Operation High Jump. It involved an immense naval fleet with an aircraft carrier, submarines, and 4,700 personnel. Officially, its goals were to train personnel in frigid conditions, test equipment, and consolidate American claims in the region. But the mission's scale and its abrupt end have led many to question its true purpose. Why send a massive military force on a scientific mission just a year after a global war? Conspiracy theorists argue High Jump's real objective was to find and destroy the secret Nazi base 211. They claim the operation, planned for 6 to 8 months, was suddenly cut short after only 8 weeks. Did they encounter something they weren't prepared for? Proponents of the theory claim U.S. forces engaged in a battle, not with Nazis, but with advanced flying craft. While official reports cite logistical problems and the harsh winter for the early departure, the sheer strangeness of the mission has left it shrouded in suspicion. At the center of Operation High Jump was its leader, famed polar explorer Admiral Richard E. Byrd. And at the heart of the Antarctic mystery is his alleged secret diary. While Byrd's official logs are public, a separate document surfaced years later telling an unbelievable story. According to this purported diary, Byrd discovered an entrance into the Earth itself during a flight over the pole. He wrote of flying over green valleys, seeing mammoth-like creatures, and finding a city of advanced beings who were concerned about humanity's use of atomic weapons. It's a sensational story. However, the authenticity of this diary is heavily disputed and widely considered a hoax. Researchers note its short, story-like text is completely out of character for Byrd, whose real logs were obsessively detailed. The diary first appeared in the 1950s, published by a fringe group with no clear link to Byrd's estate. Whether fact or fiction, the legend of Byrd's journey has become a cornerstone of the Antarctic conspiracy. We've journeyed from ancient maps to secret Nazi expeditions and a lost diary's explosive claims. The official story is that these are all misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and hoaxes. But the questions persist. The sheer volume of strange stories surrounding Antarctica is unlike any other place on Earth. What do you believe? Is it all coincidence? Or are we being kept in the dark? Let us know your theory in the comments below. And if you want to keep exploring the world's greatest mysteries, make sure to subscribe. In the modern era, the search for Antarctica's secrets has moved from dusty archives to the digital realm. Amateur researchers now scour satellite imagery on Google Earth, and what they've found has only deepened the mystery. One of the most famous discoveries is a series of structures that look a lot like the pyramids of Egypt. Peeking through the ice in the Ellsworth mountain range, these massive four-sided formations appear unnervingly artificial. To many, these Antarctic pyramids are proof of an ancient civilization. Geologists, however, have a ready explanation. They identify these structures as natural mountain peaks known as nunataks. The pyramid-like shape, they say, is the result of millions of years of wind and ice erosion, a geological coincidence. Beyond pyramids, satellite images have revealed strange doorways and other unnatural-looking shapes. Each discovery goes viral as smoking gun evidence. And in almost every case, science provides a mundane explanation, tricks of light and shadow, or unusual ice formations. Yet, for every official debunking, the question lingers. How many natural formations can mimic artificial structures before we have to consider that some of them might be what they look like? When you step back and look at all the pieces, a stunning picture begins to emerge. This is what proponents of a grand Antarctic conspiracy ask us to do. Don't look at these as isolated incidents, but as a trail of breadcrumbs. The theory goes like this. An advanced civilization flourished on a temperate Antarctica thousands of years ago. They created the source maps later used by Piri Reis. A cataclysm buried their world under ice, preserving their cities. In the 20th century, the Nazis stumbled upon it, leading them to establish New Swabia. After the war, the U.S. launched Operation High Jump as an invasion force and was repelled by the guardians of this hidden world. Admiral Byrd, according to this theory, was shown the truth as a warning. Terrified, world governments created the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. On the surface, it was for peace and science. But its true purpose, theorists claim, was to create a global cover-up, quarantining the continent to hide the greatest secret in human history. So, what truly lies beneath the ice? Is it merely a continent of rock home to penguins and scientists? Or is it a land of impossible ruins and secret bases? The official narrative tells us these stories are modern myths, born from our fascination with the unknown. They insist the pyramids are mountains, the maps are misinterpretations, and the diaries are hoaxes. And yet, the questions won't go away. From the massive Gombortsev subglacial mountains that defy easy explanation to recent discoveries of complex ecosystems thriving in total darkness, Antarctica constantly reveals itself to be stranger than we ever imagined. Perhaps the conspiracy isn't a city of gold under the ice. Perhaps the real secret is simply that we have no idea what's truly down there. The continent remains a giant blank slate. And until we can explore every last mile of the land beneath the ice, the question will haunt us. What are they hiding in Antarctica?